into the woods and show you guys the thousands of cicadas that are out and singing after 17 years of feeding and living underground. However, they have not, the emergence has not peaked yet. It's a slow rollout over here in Ann Arbor, Michigan. And this is Issa Betancourt, your host of the Bugscope, reporting from White Oak Natural Area in Ann Arbor. Christian, good to see you. And Rada, hello. And Frank, hi. And Molly. Yeah, so it's funny because last week I was like, I'm going to show everybody the cicadas this week. And then it was definitely like they had not emerged yet. And then this week I was like, it's going to be this week because it was a really hot week. And like it was 80 degrees, 88 degrees even one day. And the nighttime was like 60 and very warm this week. But then it's just a slow rollout. So, yay, the twins. Hello, Yassine. Twin power. Go, baby A. Yeah, so I've been scouting and monitoring. Here are some shed exoskeletons. If you guys have any questions about, like my little leaf hat here, if you have any questions about the periodical cicadas, you can drop them in the chat. Even if you're watching this on replay, go ahead and drop a question in the chat and I can answer you or bring it up during a future broadcast. Street cred award. Thanks. Yeah, so I think I've earned my street cred on monitoring the populations up here because I've come out to different natural areas each evening and sometimes during the day, like 4 or 5 times at this point, to scout and keep a finger on the pulse of what's happening. David, hello, good to see you. Martin, hi. So yeah, here's one. The other evening I watched this one molt, and now the adult is long gone, probably up in a tree somewhere. There have not. Don't we do this at night? I'll probably be doing a broadcast at night too. My initial, well, first of all, the Bugscope regularly is during the day, so that's why I'm doing this day broadcast. And then secondly, I'll probably be doing a broadcast in the future when they are peaking here during the daytime, maybe next week. I'm hoping next week. It's just tricky waiting up here for this wonderful event to happen. Up here, when I'm saying, what I mean by up here is like in Michigan, because we are like among the northernmost populations up here in Michigan. And down in DC, it's like been a party. People are seeing them crawl up their doors, up their trees, up their mailboxes, and molting and flying and singing. But here, it's all quiet. It hasn't peaked yet. Only a few have come out so far. And I have some hypotheses, I have some suspicions as to what's happening. Like, first of all, we're up here in Michigan. When I drive home to Philadelphia or back to Philadelphia, like during the spring, you can see the change in how leafed out the trees are. It's like you're watching spring happen before your eyes when it's early May and you're driving from Ann Arbor to Philadelphia area. Just as you go down south in latitude or more lower in latitude, the little leaf buds on trees get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until it's like full-fledged almost summer. And then when you drive back up, it's like the leaves get smaller and smaller and smaller because we're more northern, so we're at a different state, a different progression. So, hi fly. Little face bug right away in the beginning of this broadcast, huh? Yeah, so I've been like so antsy, like I want to join the fun with it, but the cicadas, it hasn't fully reached that 64 degrees. We're still experiencing some chilly weather. For example, what is that down there? Whoa, is this an emerald ash borer? All right. Interesting. Beautiful. I'll have to ID it later. Oops. All right. Yay, being distracted by bugs while talking about bugs. Such things happen on the Bugscope. Okay. I tried to record the little gray foxes, says Molly, but I ran off. Okay. Been quiet here in Sedona. Wait, Arizona as well. Yeah, I don't think they go all the way over there, but I wonder what this little wood boring beetle is here that distracted me. Anyway, so did I say what I wanted to say here? So yeah, we are on a different schedule than other people. The peak has not happened yet. Interestingly, the cicadas that are on the forest edges seem to be emerging earlier. Those are the ones that have been more likely to emerge, and that makes sense because the ground will get warmer. Oh, I see, guys, I see one actually. Yay, I see an adult. Oh, I see a couple adults now that I look around. All right, let me bring them up to the camera so we can take a look and say hi. Okay, here we are. I'll show you in situ, our periodical cicada friend. Yes, the ones on the farthest edges tend to be the ones that have emerged first. And that's probably because it's warmer. The ones in the forest, even in the spots where I've found hundreds and hundreds of chimneys, those ones have not emerged yet. And my guess is that because it's more in the forest, it's cooler, and so that ground temperature is not heating up as fast as in places where there's like pavement or just a lot of sun getting through to the ground. So, all right, let me bring this little guy up so we can say hello. I'll put him on my face. I don't know if it'll hold on very well. There we go. How do we look? Um, David saying, is soil temperature the emergence trigger? Yeah, I've also read that warm spring rains will also help with bringing them out. Here, let me put this in my hand so it's a little, so you guys can see a little more. So here's our friend, silent friend. They have not started singing. When it gets a little warmer out and more emerge, we'll hear them, but they're not even singing yet. Um, cool. Molly said we had you're over in Pittsburgh, and Molly's saying we had a 9-day heat wave that may have been why they came out early. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it's early for you though, Molly. Although, when did they come out for you guys in Pittsburgh? I'll show you guys the other one that I see over here in the woods. It's a little forest patch even. It's not like a huge wooded area. I'm guessing this one maybe came out last night. There's Cicada from this. Where's the shell? There's the exoskeleton. Here's the exoskeleton. Trying to make it focus. Focus, phone. Focus here. There we go. Oops. And this part right here that you see coming out, that is part of the tracheal system, or the tubes, the breathing tubes. That, yeah. Here, I'll put on a macro lens so we can take an even closer look at our insect friend. Its beautiful, beautiful red eyes. Hi, cicada. And there you can see its mouth part that's kind of touching my finger. You can see its toes, or its two, why am I blanking out on the name of it? It's two, what's it blanking out? What is it called? I don't know, but here's its beautiful face. You can see its pseudo pupils make it look like it's looking at us specifically. It's black, it has those orangey yellow wings, really beautiful wings. You can see the shorter hind wing and the larger front wing. And its tiny little antennae in the front. And its spiky feet. And yeah, really little critters. Here, sorry. Molly says, I think if you were blatantly mating while clinging to the window screen. Very likely. How do you tell the males from the females? Are they very different? I I could definitely use some practice with that. I think this one's a female. I think. Let me see if this one looks different, and so I can compare them. Comparative anatomy. One moment. All right. Pardon the adjustments. Also, guys, did I apologize for being late today on the broadcast? There was a person walking around the woods that I got into a conversation with, and who lives right in this neighborhood, and he is like a natural steward for the land here. He was coming through. It was really cool. He was coming through and weeding out invasive species. He had a little screwdriver too to help with removing them. So I talked with him. I also exchanged phone numbers with him because since he lives in the area, I was like, hey, can you help me like keep tabs on what they're doing out here in this area? So he was nice enough to be up for that. And so yeah. Oops. All right, let's take a look at this one and see if they look like they're different. Oh, it's blue. This one's a little more flighty. Or it was afraid of me, I guess. Let me try to get it. All right. Sorry for the shaky camera work here. Okay, so we have two cicadas to take a look at. Let me see if I can put my phone down. I need a different tripod, huh? It's not working too well on the grass, on this pathway. Why not? I found that there's a dead one on the ground here too. All right, maybe my tripod's just broken and I need a new one. Huh. All right, I'll use my. Let's try that. Maybe that'll work. All right, so here's one I just picked up. They look like the same. They look the same. I think these are females. No, males. Let me see. Lift up their wing here. I think these are females. They seem small though, so I'm thinking male. But I also, does the female have a bigger tympanum? I need to go. I'm rusty on this. Clearly, I need to go practice, brush up on my cicada morphology knowledge. Um, oh, awesome, Craig. Craig says we used to remove invasive species at the California state parks. That's wonderful. Yeah, it's a big job. There's so many invasive species that have um, ravaged the lands and displaced native species. Um, yes, I'm gonna guess that these are females, but I'm not sure. Darn, I wish I knew. I wish I brushed up on this before the broadcast. Okay. Do they react to each other? These two? I think that they're the same sex, based on looking at their abdomens, and also their size is like the same as well. I put one on my nose for this bud. I'll show you guys also this really cool oak gall that is over on an oak tree that way. And we'll see if we see any more cicadas to compare with for some more comparative morphology. All right, going for a little field trip, cicadas. But we're not leaving your forest area, so no worries. Yeah, I do plan on eating a cicada at some point during this emergence, but not these ones. These ones are okay. Oh, I hear something. Oh wow, a little mole or something. We can see if we can sneak up on it if you guys want to. Oops. Here. Oops. You guys see the mole right there? I think it's a mole. I don't know my mammals that well. We'll see its face. Show us your face, little critter. This insect's gonna love. Oh wow, there it is. This animal's gonna love eating. I bet you it's already been eating the cicadas. Wow. I kind of want to pet it, but I'm not going to. I'm surprised it's not disturbed by my presence already. I bet you it's been eating them. Yeah. What if it's eating one right now? Look at those. Look at those arms right in the front, and that nose for sniffing around and finding food. And there's the top of a cicada chimney right here. Hi, Lars. How's it going? Yeah, it's a mole. Thanks. It's really big. Maybe I'm thinking of voles. Are voles smaller than moles? Wow, I can't believe it doesn't really care about me. Like, it hasn't reacted to my presence. Wow. It looks so soft and fuzzy. But I will resist trying to pet it or interfere. When's the last time you guys have seen voles or moles? Hi, Heavenly Dew. How are you? This is an ant on it. I want to see it eat a cicada. Anyway. Alright, we'll continue on to the oak gall. How about that? It's a little hard to see it because it's so buried now. Here's a cicada chimney right there. Maybe it was checking that out. All right, bye, Mo. Nice. Oh, here's a nice view of the front of it. Nice to meet you. All right, off we go. Back to the pathway. Yeah, it was so cute. Okay, we still have one cicada friend here with us as we venture on to look at an oak gall and maybe look for more of the cicadas to compare their private parts, I guess I'll say. Yeah. With some lovely fungus up here on this dead tree trunk. No bugs on the fungus though. Alright. Oh, little cicada on my shoulder. Okay. Alright, approaching an oak tree. Also, I'll say here too that on upcoming Tuesday, I'm having mark your calendar because I'm bringing on Ashley Kennedy, who is she works with surveying and monitoring ticks in Delaware State. She is going to be joining us on the Bug Scope on Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. So mark your calendars and hope to see you there. Bring any questions you have about ticks and tick safety. And you can see that event on the Bug Scope schedule link in the bio. So over here is a weird thing that was a hi Peter, how's it going? Pretty well. Here is a oak gall. So inside of this, if we dissected it, we'd find a tiny little wasp developing. And this is a native species, I believe, based on its range especially. Cynipid is the family and Hymenoptera that it's in. and they are pretty weird to see. We can I'll bring one. Maybe I can bring one home and we can dissect it because there are a bunch here. How long will the cicadas be out and once emerged? They'll be out for like a couple weeks, so like 2 to 3 weeks. So where'd this one go? Here it is. So the clock is ticking. Hopefully the rest will come out so it can start. The chorus can begin. But yeah. Andricus genus asks David. I'm not sure what the genus is for the off the top of my head for this oak gall, but I think there's also a bunch of gypsy moth caterpillars on here, which are an invasive species. Right here. So, yikes! Little invasive caterpillar. Boo! Yeah. Anyway, whoa, there's a bunch right here. Not of cicadas, but a bunch of these caterpillars that probably hatched. I think they're invasive. After this broadcast, I'll look it up, and if I confirm that they are the invasive gypsy moth, I shall destroy them for nature. So, lots of holes in the leaves. Yeah, probably from these. Okay. Cool. Well, yeah. So, for those of you who weren't here in the beginning, my name is Issa Betancourt, reporting from Ann Arbor. We're not near the peak yet. Of the cicadas have not even started singing here in many of the nature areas. I've heard some reports of singing in some places, but there's a lot of confusion over the cicadas singing. A lot of people are mistaken and think that they sing at nighttime. They actually sing during the day. What sings at nighttime are crickets, sometimes katydids. In the world, there's some cicadas that will sing during the day, but these ones are active and singing and finding each other during the daytime between the hours of about 10 and 5. Hi, Ian. How's it going? Oh, super, Lars. I will check it out. And next time I do a broadcast from my computer, I will share them. So thank you for sharing those bee hotel photos. Yeah, so here's our little featured guest for today's broadcast. Very silent on the northern front here, but we expect that as the days get warmer and the temperatures rise, that the cicadas in the hearts of the forest patches will start to rise up from the ground and sing. I'm especially have my eye out for this area at the Cherry Hill nature area, where I saw hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of emergence holes. So I will have to continue this discussion in a future broadcast. Give you guys an update later on as things come along. But yeah, hi this, how's it going? Ian says you'll be glad to know that my daughter will soon be working on growing silkworms and butterflies. Awesome! What kind of butterflies? And when you say silkworms, do you mean like the giant silk moths, or do you mean like the actual silk worms that the moths that people use for making silk fabrics? Out of curiosity. Very exciting. It's a wonderful thing to be a part of, especially I think it's a great activity for kids to rear insects because that process of metamorphosis is so wonderful and miraculous and just exciting. It's like a present that you nurture and take care of, and then all of a sudden at some point, pop, it has wings and it has beautiful scales and it can fly. So so yeah. All right, I'll show a close up of our cicada friend who I think is a female because it looks like she has some sort of ovipositor, but and also I don't see much in the way of uh, vocalization organs. But I guess I sort of thought that the female might be a little larger for eggs, for having eggs. Um, but yeah. Have a great day, Lars. Thanks. High five to you too. Thank you for that. Thank you. Okay. Oh, which way shall I do it? I'll do it this way. Hopefully it doesn't mess up the sound too much. But here's our cicada friend. Beautiful wings. Oh, she's really on the move. wonderfully red front eyes. Here we go. And you can also see the ocelli a little bit in the middle here. Actually, if I turn this around the other way, it's a lot easier to see. Okay. One moment. I have a nice and flat surface here as well, so that's very helpful. I don't know, my tripod's just not working for me today for some reason. I don't know what happened to it. I need to get another one. All right, oh, there we go. Flipping the camera. Yeah, my tripod's like off balance. I don't know why. Okay. Here's the cicada. So 6 legs like any insect, 2 little tiny antennae, bright red eyes, beautiful red eyes, beautiful orangey yellowish colors on the wings, wonderfully shiny and like clear stained glass windows, ready to fly soon when necessary. Although it's pretty chilly today, so she's not going to fly. I think it's a she. You can also see the little triangle, this shiny little triangle, small simple eyes, the ocelli, right between the 2 big eyes. And you can see this, yeah, very slender antennae. When they're nymphs, they also have that sort of very pointed triangle-like front of the face. So I think it's sort of retained from a nymphal form because they don't go through complete metamorphosis like butterflies and beetles and flies do. They don't go through a egg, larva, and then pupal and adult stage. They just go from an egg to a nymph to an adult. Because of that, a lot of those hemimetabolists are partially metamorphic insect groups like these will still retain a lot of similarities in looks to their nymphal form. I think that front pointed face is part of that, and also I think that the front, like the way the front arms are, I think are a little similar, but at the same time, that's good for gripping twigs and things like that. And then it has that piercing, sucking mouth part in the front as well for tapping into the trees to take a sip to get some energy. Gross, Mike. Beautiful. If you meet one, I think your mind will change. If you take a little time to get to know them, it's definitely really different to see them in person and just so amazing to live on Earth with these wonderful animals and with the diversity of animals without the insects and the millions and more species that we have. I think that Earth would be a super boring place, and it's a great place to get inspiration for stories and patterns and styles and color combinations and textures and all sorts of different things. There's a lot in the insect world that you'd never be able to make up. Woo! It flew down. And also, I will add, since I don't know, here, I'll flip it around again. Hello, cicada. The cicada, guys, is 17 years old. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Yeah. And we would be doomed without bugs because then a lot of resources and a lot of animals just wouldn't have food, and the plants wouldn't get pollinated, and everything would come to a big halt. They're really important parts of the machinery, and they're like the little gears that keep the world running. So I don't know that, David. Abyss says, I hear that they nest and resurface in prime number years to avoid predation. That's so amazing. Yep. I wrote a blog post about it, Abyss, if you're interested. I can't add it to the chat right now because I'm broadcasting from my phone. But I did write a blog post about how I recommend the best way to celebrate them is to eat one, because that's also the strategy for how their survival strategy is to evade predation. Well, kind of. No. Their survival strategy is to evade predation by only emerging once every 17 years. And then because of that regular number, they just like flood in high numbers and completely saturate any predators. And so uh, that's why one way to celebrate is to eat them, because then you're kind of celebrating the way that they live. And there's already so many that they're going to survive, and they're going to have so many offspring, and there's going to be a lot that don't make it, but that's part of the plan. That's expected. Here's a little exoskeleton. That's the gist of my article. But it also includes a recipe for grits and cicadas. Um, so yeah, I have a famous quote that went viral back in 2013 in the mainstream news media where I called them the shrimp of the land. And while they are sort of like that in the way that they maybe look, they also remind me a lot of, when you taste them, of like crabs. And when I had some the other day, I cooked it, I boiled it, and then I also broiled one. And yeah, the meat was very similar to crabs. And even that front arm, like here, the front arm, like up there, they just kind of have like front grabby arms, a little like crabs. And that like totally reminded me of eating a crab from the ocean, and the way that the the meat came off of the parts of it. Yeah. Yeah, if you get them when they're tendrils or like have just molted, it is very reminiscent of a soft shelled crab. Oh, thanks for sharing the blog post, Frank. I appreciate that. Ian says I'm thinking of actually talking about cicadas soon, a topic related to neuropharmacology. Ah, you're gonna talk about that fungus that attacks them and kind of controls them, and then they mate a lot too, or something like that. I haven't learned a lot about that yet. Molly's asking, will cicadas hurt my pole beans? I don't think so. They're tree creatures, so I think your pole beans will be okay. The biggest concern is, first of all, they're native to the area, so they're in balance with nature. Even though they might seem like a huge swarm, that's just part of the nature that they've been doing. They've been doing this for many years, for dozens, probably thousands of years, probably maybe even dozens of thousands of years and beyond. And the only concern maybe would be if you just planted an oak tree and it has lots of little twiggy uh, branches. Maybe that might be like, that's where they lay their eggs, in the small tiny branches, but probably of bigger trees. I'm not sure their tendency for smaller ones, but if there's going to be an issue, it would be with the smaller trees where they might want to lay their eggs. But that's like, I haven't heard of like any like I haven't heard, but maybe it exists, some examples where it did really affect someone's little baby tree that they were trying to plant. So Abyss says, well, crabs have more ancestral links to insect, if I'm not mistaken. Then what? Then shrimp? Or then what? Yeah. I think crabs and shrimp are both arthropods. I don't know what the family tree looks like though for them. But yeah, just chill little cicada. I did have a cicada. And they don't hurt. They just hang out and try to fly away. And um, so I did have a cicada bite me once upon a time, but that's because I had it in captivity for a little while, and so I think it just got like, thought I was wondering if I was food. Maybe I had some branches for it, but I think it was probably trying me, like trying to eat me. But they definitely don't actively do that, and I hesitated to share that because I don't want someone to like take it and sensationalize it and be like look out for them biting you, because that's like, it's only a situation with me where I handle so many bugs all the time that it's inevitable that at some point it might happen, because the chances, since it's just a high exposure, since I hold and handle and study a lot of different bugs. There's an interesting article, Exhibits, that came out recently, talking about how so many different organisms have evolved to take the form of crabs. Luckily, it didn't have a recipe for humans. Is that what you're saying, Frank? Yep. Abyss says, I mean, crustaceans in general have more generic links to arthropods, so I won't be surprised if they taste the same. Yeah, totally. Yeah. Um, yeah. Some people have described them to taste like shrimp. Maybe consistency, if you cook it the right way, is like shrimp. I did find the meat to be more flaky like crab, but I only had it a few different ways, including raw in the past. And um, yeah. All right. Um, I think I'm gonna head home now, but thanks you guys for joining. Stay tuned to my Instagram and probably Twitter for more posts and photos that I've taken of these periodical cicadas. Like I took some last night, I can show you guys. Ian says you're definitely selling me on eating them by comparing their taste to crabs. Yeah, my new hair clip. Yay. Um, which park am I in? Oops. I'm in. So I was talking to a land steward earlier, and he was like, "This is not a park; it's a nature area." So this is a nature area. Still learning the differences and all the different sort of sections and designations in Ann Arbor. This is White Oak Nature Area, and yeah, I took some photos of some of the molting that was happening. I mean, I'm guessing you guys have seen a lot of these photos already, but for example, here's a photo I took of this one molting. Oops, this way. So this one was getting ready to molt. Um, took a lot of pictures. Oh yeah, you can see kind of the time lapse, backwards time lapse. Woo! Going back in the exoskeleton. There it is. There were two of them that I was photographing, so it's not totally timing wise equal. Oh, here's the split right there. Split down the back. The hole that it just whoosh, falls out from using gravity as an assist. So I'm guessing that they wouldn't fare well if they had to molt in space. Wait, there we go. I just tied this to the HAPS theme of the week. Space. They would not be able to molt in space unless there was artificial gravity. Bam. But this says I have to return to Ann Arbor and visit those places you did some of your broadcasts. Yeah, I'm gonna probably do a broadcast from the Cherry Hill at some point too, but to be determined when. Um, thanks for the super heart, David. How long do they take to color after molting? There's a lot of flies here. That takes several hours, probably. Um, I'll see if I can narrate a molting event at some point. So the gist is the back splits, the insect starts falling out. The falling out part's pretty fast, but then somehow it holds on, um, looking like it's defying gravity, and it needs to hold on with its like butt area, basically abdominal area. Where did the cicada go? I don't know where it went. It could have flown away, but I'm not sure. It has to rest in that kind of falling looking state long enough for its arms to harden enough so that they're strong enough to hold on so that it can change positions to bring its abdomen out of the exoskeleton. And then that's when its wings are starting to inflate as it's weighting down that, as it's leaning back like that. Um, and that part takes a little while for the arms to finally be hardened and sclerotized. That's the entomology name. Enough for it to make that switch, and actually hold on with its new exoskeleton structure. And then as it rests, its wings are kind of just out. You saw that in the first picture I shared. And then eventually, once the wings have hardened enough, then they fold back into that position that you see once they're an adult. And then they just sit there until basically sunrise and harden over time. I don't know exactly how long the hardening takes, but several hours. It takes hours for that to happen. And then when the sun rises, it's ready to fly. So they are doing this under the cover of dark. They molt under the cover of dark. And there have been a couple of photos that I've seen online of people sharing molts that have gone bad. If you see one that's dark, you see the black, you see all that coloration there, and it still looks like it's coming out of its exoskeleton, it's never going to come out of its exoskeleton. It's a bad molt, and this just happens in the insect world, and that's also why they have so many babies, because it's a big deal to shed out, and bad things happen, and sometimes insects get stuck, and then that's their demise. But I wonder if the prevalence of that happening in the periodical cicadas is higher because their strategy of being eaten, like of where a lot of them get eaten, like it's not so bad because then it's just easy pickings for um, for the squirrels and things. But then at the same time, then that one's genes aren't passed on. It's not like they're colonial species where it doesn't matter. It does matter if it does get stuck because then it won't pass on its genes. So, but anyway, I wonder if it's a way to measure actually, even measure. I don't know. It's just an interesting dynamic of it. I wonder if there's any higher instance of bad molts occurring in periodical cicadas versus other cicadas. That's the bottom line of what I'm pondering. Um, Ian saying, "Oh wow, I just found that Radiolab has a cicada tracker map thingy." Yeah, two websites that I like to use are iNaturalist and then also Cicada Safari. And if send me the link for that one, Ian, because I'm curious about it too. Thanks for the super heart, Exodus. Cool. All right, I'm going to head home now for reals. Let me just see if I have the cicada somewhere. Checking myself, not for ticks, but for cicadas. I don't know. Maybe it wandered off, or maybe I'll get home and I'll have a friend still on me. Yeah, I don't see it anywhere. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it went off somewhere. I hope so, because I don't see it anywhere. Okay. Oh, thanks for sharing that. Uh, thanks for sharing that project. Yeah. And buggy, nice. The bad bugs. That's definitely a clear bad bug when it comes to good bugs and bad bugs. Chris says we're going to the Academy of Sciences this week in San Francisco. Have a wonderful time. Yeah, that's super. It's a great place. Hello, Chris. Yeah, so cool. All right. Oh, and also for anyone who's not aware, I'm applying to the Entomological Society of America. I've been doing the bug scope for like 4 years now, and I'm applying to the Entomological Society of America's Science Communication Award for the bug scope. So I'm pretty excited for that. And part of the application is letters of recommendation. So I've gotten some of those. But if you have a special story related to the bug scope that can help support an application like this, where it has affected you in some wonderful way, then let me know. So I can include it in this application to this innovative science communication award. So a little side note. Cool. All right, I'm back to my car, so I'm gonna head off. But thanks, guys, for joining today. Take care, and hopefully I'll see you on Tuesday at 6 p.m. for the 10 things everyone ought to know to stay safe from ticks with Dr. Ashley Kennedy on Tuesday at 6 p.m. here on the Bug Scope. All right, make sure you like the post, and I'll catch you guys later. Thanks, David. I hope so. It definitely fits the innovative category because live streaming was rather new when this started. So I hope that this points. Hope that gives good marks. Okay, cool. What is Glenn Mills, Chris? And thanks for writing the letter recommendation, David, too. David John, hello, and goodbye, because I'm headed out. All right, bye, Frank, bye, everybody, take care, and find a cool bug this week, and then tell me about it. All right.